Scott. It's great to see you. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. In the midst of pre-season, you can see in the background that I'm in the kit room as we speak. So hard at it as usual, and ready and raring to go for another season over here in Australia.
Scotland of the Southern Hemisphere, isn't it?
Yeah, you could say that. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, listen, I want to talk to you about the game, Scotland Serbia. Quite a lot of people that I've spoken to about this, general consensus is very nervy. Serbia, they're a decent side, but hopeful. How do you think this is going to play out, Scott?
I think it's going to be a very tight, cagey affair. Obviously, both teams. I think it's been 20 years since Serbia's made the Euros. Obviously, they were at the last World Cup, but they've waited a long time to be part of the Euros. Also, we all know about Scotland and how long it's been for them, and the pain that they've been throughout that period. But Scotland have been on a great run of form. Obviously, unbeaten in 8, clean sheets in the last 3 games. So you'd like to think they're full of confidence. I think the biggest task for Steve Clarke is actually picking who's going to play in that first 11. Does he stick by the boys that done really well for him in the last games against Israel, and or does he go back to the likes of the Tierneys or McKenna's? He's got some choices to make. Even Christie coming back into the fold as well. So I think he'll stick with his 3-5-2, and I think they'll just look to frustrate Serbia and keep it tight as possible for as long as possible, and hopefully try and get one at the other end at some point. And I think with Scotland's, the way they're set up now with Steve Clarke in charge, they're very, very hard to beat. And I think, Serbia have already mentioned that as well, that Scotland are one of the form teams within the European competitions, and they're probably one of the most robust as well.
What kind of style of play are you expecting to see from Serbia, Scott?
I think they'll be on the front foot, press really high, try and put a lot of pressure on Scotland, albeit they are the team that are at home. And I think their manager has already said that the pressure's all on them. So that's a good thing for Scotland, I suppose. But even saying that, the whole of Scotland's probably putting pressure on our boys. I say ours because I've spent enough time to know about it. But and my parents are Scottish as well. So I can still remember the last time they went to the World Cup. I remember watching them that first game against Brazil quite fondly. So it'd be nice to see them, get back to where we all want to see them. But getting back to Serbia, I think, with the players that they've got, at their disposal, they've got Jovic, who's at Real Madrid, even on the bench. You've got the likes of Tadic and obviously Mitrovic and Milinkovic Savic as well, who obviously plays for Lazio, scored the 2 goals against Norway to get them into the final. So they've got talent in abundance and strength and depth as well. So if it's not happening for them on the night, there's as much quality to come on. So it's a real tough task for Scotland. But like I said, the way that they've performed under Steve Clarke and the shape and the system, they look like they really believe in it. And look, they're going to need a little bit of luck on the night, no question. When you play away from home, there's going to be, chances for the opposition. You just hope that Scotland are at their very best and they get that little bit of luck on the night.
Just going back to something you said earlier about the pressure on the lads, I'd like to get your point of view on their mindset going into this. Like, how do you prepare? How do you get yourself in the zone for an international game like this one, Scott?
Well, I personally think it's kind of a good thing that they're away from home. I think if they were at Hampden, albeit no fans, but I think that adds extra pressure on the players and the expectation levels even rise even more. So to actually be playing away from home, I think it's not necessarily a free hit, because there's still an expectancy within the country, that they can do this. And look, I think like players from past to now, they'll be desperate to play on the world stage, in those top tournaments. That's what we all dream of as young players, playing for your country, firstly, but to go to these, international tournaments and go and play in them and do as best you can. So fingers crossed they can do it.
As a goal scorer with too many goals under your belt to even count, how important is self-belief, Scott? And how do you instill it? You personally, how do you, harness that inner confidence?
I think obviously when you play international football as well, it's an extra level up. It's the highest elite level. So, and I think Lyndon Dykes has really coped well. I believe he's going to lead the line on the night, and I think Christie will play in behind him. Because I think Fraser's out, so he played successfully with him in the last group games. but I think Christie will play behind him. But I think for Dykes, Dykes is an interesting one for me. You know, obviously he's an Aussie boy. We were a bit gutted to lose him, but he's more than proven himself. You know, at international level already for Scotland. Got his goal, which has been great as well, and he's a great foil for the team itself. And I think he's playing with a lot of confidence and fully believes now he belongs at that level. So I think that can only bode well for Scotland. And if they can get those balls in the box, I'm sure he's going to be a handful on the night.
What do you miss most about Scotland?
The people. I miss all the people, and at times like this, obviously football's not as big as other sports over in Australia. So
can you get a haggis supper in Brisbane?
I've not tried yet, but I do miss it actually. And the Irn-Bru doesn't taste the same either. It's imported. It's never the same.
You've got to get it in a bar's glass bottle.
Well, that's the thing. They only do it in cans. So there you go. So that's why I reckon. Must be.
Thanks so much, Scott. It's great to chat to you.
Absolute pleasure. Until next time.